Hi, my name is Oscar Psychas, and I'm here in my home in Gainesville, Florida. I'm a senior enrolled in a public high school IB program. A Florida native and half Finnish, I spent most of my childhood in West Africa. And I enjoy reading, longboarding, exploring the wild areas of my home state, and going to our family's farm in Finnish Lapland. Whether running around the forests of Finland or exploring the swamps of my home state, I've always enjoyed getting outdoors. But it was my childhood in Ghana that got me passionate about addressing global conservation issues. After all, I couldn't ignore the massive environmental issues in a country where remnant forests were being rapidly destroyed and where plastic pollution covered the landscape. I have a passionate interest in global issues, and as a president of my school's Model UN team, I designed committees to get youth engaged with global issues, such as jihadism in West Africa. In the summer of 2014, I returned to Ghana and I worked with a green company trying to make creative solutions to using omniscient plastic waste. I also worked at a breeding center for critically endangered monkeys, assisting in daily zoo tasks and leading enrichment projects. I have founded and led the 7th Generation, a high school club dedicated to reconnecting teens with the environment and the issues it faces. I view getting youth involved with environmental issues as a critical issue of our time. After all, we're going to be the ones that need to step up and confront these issues. I want to serve as a leader for Earth Echo because today's youth face the greatest challenge of history, to address the unprecedented threats to our planet's ecology. This demands changing our worldview to one where we understand nature. And I remember on my environmental science teacher's wall, there was a challenge: get outside, stay outside. I've always been someone who gets outside, both in the woods here and in Finland. But as a generation, we confine ourselves indoors, locked in by technology and fearful parents. But it's these bonds with the natural world that makes people conservationists. Action seems much more essential when we can imagine our favorite places endangered by human greed and short-sightedness. If we aren't in touch with the outdoors, how can we be in touch with these urgent environmental issues? That's why I founded the 7th Generation, a club to engage youth with nature and conservation. But I want to expand my role from being a leader at my high school to being a leader globally. In Earth Echo, one of the things I would like to do is help create programs that engage youth with the environment, including a program to get youth engaged with the natural springs of Florida that could be called Blue Forever. I would do this with enthusiasm, initiative, and connection to the issues of my home, Florida. Combined with the mentoring and resources of the incredible staff at Earth Echo and my coming undergraduate studies in environmental science, I hope to gain experience that will help me continue a lifelong commitment to conservation. I'm most passionate about fighting environmental degradation and the shifting baseline effect that comes with it. When I was younger, I thought that if land wasn't cleared from development, it would be free from environmental problems. But with maturity, I realized that the whole problem in my childhood home of Ghana was that the environment had become degraded by overexploitation and pollution. A lack of garbage collection systems means that plastic waste covers the landscape, clogging up waterways and threatening wildlife. Technically protected land is illegally logged and poached. Returning to Gainesville, I found the same issues here. For example, aquifer depletion and fertilizer runoff has brought North Florida's incredible springs to the brink of collapse. In Ghana and in Florida, you can see the shifting baseline effect. People don't perceive the rapid habitat degradation. When people visit Florida's spring-fed Ishitukni River, they remark on how beautiful it is. But they don't realize that the eelgrass is coated with algae and that the water is far less clear than it was even 10 years ago, that this beautiful river is actually crying for help. What are the solutions? Educating and engaging people with environmental issues is key. To combat the shifting baseline effect, we need public education on how people's favorite places have been degraded. I've collaborated with John Moran, a nature photographer, who shows us how springs have degraded through his Springs Eternal project. By showing side-by-side photos of springs 20 years ago and now, he alerts people to how much things really have changed. Since coming back to Gainesville for high school, I've been able to explore the natural surroundings of my birthplace. Living on the relatively undeveloped Nunez Lake, kayaking in the Gulf of Mexico, and exploring springs with friends, I've been amazed by Florida's natural wonders, and I've become passionate about saving them. But at my school, there wasn't really any attention to environmental issues. Teens weren't interacting with the natural wonders that were within easy reach. My friends and I decided to found a club dedicated to engaging teens with the environment. Our offer was simple: show up and we'll go on a hike. Today we have over 40 active members, and as leader of the club, I've organized 6 nature hikes and mass bike rides, and on 3 cleanups of local waterways such as the Swanee River. We've collected over 1,500 pounds of trash. Our social media accounts, including our recently Twitter account and our group page, spread our message while updating students about environmental issues such as COP21. We've also led a tree planting initiative that has planted 2,800 trees towards our goal of 10,000. We've held film screenings on animal conservation, and we've participated in a march for elephants and rhinos. I've put in hundreds of hours of work into the club, and it's tested my leadership and communication skills. But we've been successful. We've become the largest club in our school, and we're changing students' discourse on environmental issues. As the president of the 7th generation, I've taken the opportunity to collaborate with local conservation groups. They need our enthusiastic man and woman power, and we need supplies and know-how. On 3 cleanups of local waterways, including 2 local creeks and the Santa Fe River, we've worked with Current Problems, a Florida nonprofit dedicated to cleaning up pollution in Florida's waterways. We bring a team of about 20 students and our own transportation, and they bring supplies and trash collection teams. In total, we've brought more than 1,500 pounds of trash from local streams and rivers. In addition, last summer I interned with the Alachua Conservation Trust, ACT, a local land trust. I assisted conservationists and foresters with the dirty work of forest restoration, planting seedlings, applying herbicides, sawing trees, and clearing underbrush. Our eventual goal was to change the forest from dark hardwoods to native longleaf pine forests. And with ACT employees, I helped direct a youth summer program that was planting longleaf pine and wiregrass seedlings. After my internship, I've collaborated with ACT to bring our club back to these restoration sites, and the ACT employees teach some of our club members about longleaf restoration, and then we plant longleaf and wiregrass seedlings in the forest that they manage. And so far, we've managed to plant 2,800 longleaf pines towards our goal of 10,000. Collaborating with conservation groups has not only expanded our club's reach, it's broadened my perspective on conservation work and on the multitude of ways that youth can get involved. The first skill I would bring would be globalism. My international childhood has taught me to see the complex environmental and development issues our world faces from a variety of perspectives. As an international school student with friends from all over the world, cross-cultural skills come naturally to me. The next skill I would bring is communication skills. I've always enjoyed writing and public speaking. As president of our school's Model UN team, I've had to speak articulately and create complex policy resolutions. As president of our school's environmental club, I've had actively communicated with members on social media. My internship in Ghana included a presentation at the British High Commission during a high-profile Smart Ghana initiative launch. I would be an articulate and confident representative of Earth Echo, able to give presentations and converse afterwards with donors and other organizations. The next skill would be youth engagement. As a leader of the 7th generation, I know that it's not always easy to engage teens. We have to make it easy for students to participate. All they do in our club is they show up, and there's no membership or dues required. We also combine the social side of our events with the educational side. And finally, for the more interested kids, we give the opportunity to step up as leaders in service projects. Currently, one of our members is leading an animal rights project. Conservation work. After internships and other experiences with conservation organizations in Ghana and in Gainesville, I'm experienced not only in field work, the forest restoration and the monkey care, but also in research with trashy bags, and in art and publicity with working with John Moran on his shoots and displays. Thank you very much, and Happy New Year.